Hello everybody, welcome to Monday Morning Must Knows. My name is Merlin Rothfeld, and here are I'm going to make it four really important things to pay attention to for this upcoming trading week. Now I'm going to start things off at a very high level. We're going to start off with central banks. The Reserve Bank of Australia this week is going to make an announcement regarding their rates, and it's pretty important for us to pay attention to this because obviously rate announcements, they do create a lot of volatility in the marketplace. Now Tuesday morning at 12:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time is when that rate announcement comes out. And you can see at the top there it says equals 0.1%. That means 1/10%, and it says equal, which means the expectation is they're going to keep things the same. Now, I don't know if anybody here that's watching this has ever taken a school bus, but you know the last kid that's on the bus always gets the worst seat? They're like fighting to be first in line. Well, you know who's been raising rates here recently? The neighbor to the east down there in Australia, which is going to be New Zealand. They've been raising for months now. They're already at 1% for their Fed funds rate. You have the US raising, the UK is raising. It's a question of who's going to be the last kid on that bus. Is it going to be Japan? Is it going to be the European Union? Or is it going to be Australia? Maybe we'll get some sense of direction from the Reserve Bank of Australia this week as they make their announcement on Tuesday. Now that bleeds right into one of the major central banks of the world, the United States Federal Reserve. The FOMC Meeting Minutes will be released this week, and that's very important because behind closed doors, a lot of stuff goes on. Now, if you follow Bill Addis, who's got a great course at Online Trading Academy called Bond Aid, all about bonds, you'll understand that this Fed has been extremely transparent about its rate policy and interest and all that type of stuff. Now, there are some things that may go on behind those closed-door sessions that gets, released a little bit later on. That's called the FOMC Meeting Minutes, and that gives us an idea as to which voting members think we should be raising, lowering, staying the same, or what their stance is going forward. That announcement will happen on Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for those FOMC Meeting Minutes. Now, the final piece here is an ongoing saga. It's a soap opera, if you will, that has to deal with a flag that has three colors: red, the white, and the blue. Nope, not talking about America. I'm talking about Mother Russia. There is more tension happening, and Vladimir Putin last week made a very interesting announcement, especially if you follow commodities and currency markets. He basically said, you want our oil? Then you're going to pay us in rubles. Most of you probably going, so? Big deal. Well, for the longest time, they've been allowed to use dollars, or everybody has to buy that oil with dollars. So what happens, or euros, I guess the European Union can be using euros, but for the most part, it's dollars and euros used to buy Russian oil, natural gas, and other commodities. So from that perspective, Russia has kind of been captive to other governments and other fiat currencies. So when we put all these sanctions on Russia and said we're freezing all these bank accounts, they couldn't access the money that we were supposed to be paying them for these commodities. So Putin said, forget it. You're paying us in rubles as of April 1st, and if you don't, we're cutting you off. Now, considering that 33% of Germany's supply comes from Russia alone of oil, that could be a huge problem going forward and could cause oil prices to spike. So there's one aspect, is the oil side. The second half of that's going to be the ruble. If Putin is now saying, hey, anybody buying commodities from us has to pay us in rubles because you guys can't control that one, we have to go through a Russian bank to get those rubles, then all of a sudden, what does that do to the demand for the ruble? Now, what's interesting, I feel almost like this is a buy the rumor, sell the news type of event. Why? Because look at this price chart of the ruble. Over the past couple of weeks, it has soared off those massive lows. You can see that huge decline in the price of the ruble. That was when we were putting all these sanctions on. But it's come roaring back, and it's almost back up to the levels that it was at before we put these sanctions on. So I believe a lot of people are looking at this going, you know what? I think that the European Union is going to cave and start to be buying these commodities in rubles, which would further bolster the strength of the ruble. It's hard to believe that you'd see the strength in the ruble given all that's going on, but that move by Putin going forward will be very interesting to watch, especially if you're trading currencies or commodities. That, my friends, is your Monday Morning Must Knows. We'll see you next week.